Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, September 22nd, 2016. I'm Meral, Kathwari.
And I'm Alexandria Garcia. Welcome to the Local Live.
The Larchmont Streetscape project is finally over, but property owners prepare for some extra fees coming your way.
And we congratulate a Mamaroneck High School senior recognized by the Westchester Women in Technology Awards.
And for those who wonder what's going on with the former A&P property, we'll give you the details on the new plans.
In our Play of the Week, Rhinenet Girls Volleyball show us their power.
Walter's Hot Dogs is teaming up with a famous milkshake bar. Find out more about this and other hot stories in our segment In the Media.
A local resident reports from the Access to Free Healthcare Fair.
Who are the Mac Angels? Keep watching because Mike Witch gets a scoop in our studio in the Spotlight segment.
Do you have a loved one suffering from Alzheimer's? Tonight we learn more about this disease and how Willow Gardens memory care can be helpful. So stay tuned for our live roundtable with Maura Carlin.
Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is the Local Live.
The Larchmont Streetscape project is finally over, and it is bringing over just $500,000 in fees for property owners. The fees for sidewalks are $6.83 per square feet. Aprons are $9.54 per square feet. Pavers are $88.40 per linear feet, and finally curbs are $40 per linear feet. This is a document on the Village of Larchmont website called Copy of Larchmont Streetscape Apportionment by Address. You can find this document on the agenda for the September 19th Board of Trustees meeting.
It has a detailed list of fees for each property owner according to their respective apportionment by address. The document shows that the total fees per property owner vary from $7,000 to a little bit more than $32,000. Mayor Walsh said that the fees could be paid in total or could be added to the property tax bill and be paid off in the next 15 years. Walsh said that the discussion of fees were brought to the agenda in 3 past meetings on September 2012, April of 2013, and August of this year. Let's take a listen at some residents' reactions.
I find it quite frankly ridiculous that the town is asking us to pay for the sidewalk, which we did not ask for, nor did the other merchants. It's annoying that you're asking us to pay for our own ammunition to shoot ourselves in the head. And I think it should be spread to have that spread across the entire community, not just on the merchants. Because the merchants are paying for it, the landlords aren't. Thank you.
Sidewalks are maintenance of sidewalks is the responsibility of the adjoining property owner, no matter who it may be. These costs are being apportioned to the owners of the property. Similarly, if I were to improve the sidewalk in front of my house, I would be required to pay for that improvement as well.
I just became aware of this because I received your letter saying that we were going to be assessed, and I could go to the village clerk and I could get what our assessment was going to be. So I did that today. I went to see one of my neighbors, property owner, and he did not get this letter, and he was not aware of it, and I'm a little surprised because I thought there would be more property owners here now that you just came up with the numbers. When I went to the clerk's office today, they were surprised. They said I was the only person that came. So
Mayor Walsh added the property owners will receive a letter with more details on their individual fees. But the Board of Trustees meeting was not all about the streetscape project. Remember the moratorium and the land use problems of property subdivision like 40 Ocean Avenue? Well, in 24 days, the extension of the moratorium will be over, and that's why the village has drafted 17 local laws aiming to change the current residential zoning code. The drafted laws are still open to discussion for public hearing and are available on the village website. We will keep you updated as long as the village continues to discuss law by law.
Mamaroneck High School student Lucy DeBlanc will be honored at the Westchester County Association's Women in Technology Awards. The luncheon will honor leading women scientists in Westchester. DeBlanc was selected as one of 2 student honorees among other distinguished professionals for her work inside the classroom and out. She co-created a new coding club at the high school that merged with the computer science club and is the co-president of the club this year. She's also previously interned at AT&T as part of the Girls Who Code program and with the Village of Larchmont, where she helped redesign content for their website. Her computer science teacher, Jagar Jadov, nominated DeBlanc for the award, saying, quote, "This is a tremendous accomplishment and a much-deserved recognition for all the hard work Lucy has put in for the past 3 years."
Congrats, Lucy. The A&P supermarket on Mamaroneck Avenue has been shut down since the company filed for bankruptcy in July 2015. Across the street, the Mexican restaurant Three Jalapenos has also been closed. This has left some residents wondering, what's next for these empty spaces? Loha.com reports that Comstack Residential Contracting bought the restaurant property for $1.2 million. They are building a residential building with 33 parking spaces and ground floor commercial space. The development was approved in July, and the building permits will be filed within the month. According to Loha.com, an undisclosed new supermarket and CVS may also replace the space A&P left. No opening date has been announced. The projects are part of the transit-oriented development legislation that the Village Board of Trustees enacted December 2014. Because the area is a flood zone, the developer's architecture and plans will have safety measures, including a ground floor raised by 4 feet and a water catching basin below ground.
There's a new bank in town. Orange Bank and Trust Company had its grand opening this week, inaugurating their new location on 1214 East Boston Post Road. Executives from the company met with Village of Mamaroneck officials for a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate its 12th branch. For more information on what kind of services they offer, make sure to stop by or call 914-341-7130.
Here's Kayla Coughlin with what's trending in the media.
The playwright and American legend Edward Albee passed away Friday, September 16th. Albee is famous for having written such plays as Zoo's Story and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but Larchmont remembers him as a resident and philanthropist. For more on this interesting man and how he contributed to the village of Larchmont, head on over to the Larchmont Gazette. Get ready to party, everyone, because Larchmont is turning 125 years old this weekend. That's right, Larchmont will be celebrating, and everyone's invited to come and join in on the 3 days of partying. Celebrations will kick off Friday, September 23rd, and go to Sunday. Events will include cocktail parties, galas, and much more. For a full schedule of events, check out theloopny.com. Now some exciting news for all of you food connoisseurs. Walter's Hot Dog Stand in Mamaroneck has some delicious news. As if Walter's doesn't offer enough amazing treats, the stand has teamed up with Black Tap Milkshakes. Black Tap is a very popular milkshake bar in Manhattan, which offers a wide variety of tasty shake combinations, and now we get to have them in our own backyard. For more information about the yummy collaboration, visit news12.com. The revolutionary Broadway show Hamilton has been a huge hit on Broadway. Well, Westchester can now proudly claim one of these stars of Hamilton as their own. SUNY Purchase's very own Teneri Vasquez is taking the stage as Alexander Hamilton's mother. If you'd like to read about her inspiring road to stardom, check out the Harrison Daily Voice. If you see something, say something. The MTA and various police departments are stressing this more than ever after the events of this weekend. Bombs were planted in Chelsea, New York, as well as Elizabeth and Seaside, New Jersey this weekend, and 2 exploded, injuring a number of people. Commuters are asked to please stay on high alert and always report any suspicious activity. For more information on the events of this past weekend or tips on how to travel safely, go to loha.com. If you can find it online, you can find it right here in the media. I'm Kayla Coughlin.
It's time for some local trivia. Then on tonight's roundtable, we will learn more about Alzheimer's and how Willow Gardens Memory Care can help your loved one.
Welcome to the Round Table. I'm Maura Carlin with Mike Witch, and this evening we're learning about Alzheimer's and dementia and a new facility on the Sound Shore.
And as always, this is your chance to participate. You can ask your questions or make a comment by phone, email, or tweet. The contact information will be on your screen.
Our guest this evening will tell us about Westchester's first nonprofit residence devoted exclusively to patients with Alzheimer's disease. Sally Carlin, no relation to me, is the executive director of the Willow Gardens Memory Care at United Hebrew Nursing and Rehabilitation in New Rochelle. And Grace Ferry is the vice president of
Development
and Marketing
Yes.
for United Hebrew. Thank you for joining us. I want to start with an observation that I don't think a week goes by when I don't receive an alert for a missing, vulnerable adult with dementia or Alzheimer's. Is there a reason we're hearing about this so much?
I think Alzheimer's and dementia, that cognitive loss of function, is quite frankly an epidemic. In the Hudson Valley, over 40,000 people have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and according to the Alzheimer's Association, more than 50,000 people will be diagnosed with that illness in 2025. So it's rapidly expanding, and there needs to be facilities to kind of care for those people who can't care for themselves.
Is that just a matter of age? I mean, I'm in the baby boomer generation. Is it because we are so many and we're getting older and older and we're more susceptible to illnesses and
Or
injuries?
is there something else going on in society? Or
Traditionally, memory impairment kind of comes on at 65 and older, but there certainly have been many cases of people getting memory loss that really impacts day-to-day life at a younger age.
is there a level of memory loss that's really normal at a certain age?
I think we all forget our keys and misplace them, and I
Yeah.
think we all from time to time don't misplace things, and I think that's because we're doing so many things at the same time. But when it comes to not losing your keys, but having your keys and not knowing what to do with them, that's when families really need to pay attention on what type of memory loss they're experiencing.
Is Alzheimer's a form of dementia, or are they two separate?
Yeah, Alzheimer's is a form of dementia, and the family just needs to, be aware and try to help their loved one in general on how to cope with a lot of, situations, as we were saying prior to.
Because this is not curable
No.
It's not curable.
and it can't be slowed down?
I think that they're doing research and they're trying to provide pharmaceuticals to help slow down the process, but I don't think that we're there yet.
Right.
Are there things that families should look for if you're concerned, or specific things that, symptoms?
I think it's memory loss that really impacts day-to-day life. Loss of focus, not knowing where they're going, agitation really for no unnecessary reason. We can't speak to the clinical component of it, but we encourage families who, if they see something that's not normal to their loved one, to go see their physician.
And would it be a regular physician, or should you go to someone who specializes in memory loss or geriatrics?
It could also be a geriatrician or a neurologist as well that specializes.
Okay. Well, according to your website, you have a number of residences for people with different degrees of memory loss. But what is it that's special about one that's exclusively devoted to Alzheimer's?
Our staff are the dementia experts, and they're trained through communication, through programming, through how to handle even behaviors that come out, and through the programs, music therapy, art therapy, movement therapy. We have a lot of connections with them through what they have from yesteryears.
And I think having a population of people who have the same similar interests don't have to hide and don't have to pretend that maybe something is going wrong with them. They can be in a comfortable environment because they're surrounded by people who are going through the same episode.
Are they aware that they're going, depending where you are in it,
Yes.
you might not be aware. And we hear stories that they don't recognize their children or their spouse.
So Willow Gardens has been specially designed as this two-story building. So it's our intention for the first floor to be for those with mild to moderate dementias. And as the disease progresses, they'll go to the second floor, which will be for moderate to advanced. Or if we're dealing with a family who has someone who is already in the advanced stages of the illness, we're still able to care for them. So we're able to kind of separate the populations.
What about, because I imagine this happens a lot, you have a couple, they've been together a long time, and one of them either doesn't have these symptoms and the other one does. Do you separate them?
It's challenging. This is a unit specifically for those with cognitive impairment. So most times if they're a couple, the husband or the wife continues to live life as they know it. And it may be a challenge, but they bring their loved one to Willow Gardens, and we're able to provide them with the best quality of life that they can possibly live. So they're not living together any longer.
And we take them where they are. So we try to focus on their abilities, not their disabilities. And that's how they feel at home at Willow Gardens.
How do you make them feel at home? Somebody who might, be disoriented, how do you get them to feel that this is home and feel good about it?
Well, you focus on what they can do. So if someone was a social worker and liked to read, maybe she'll lead a group, maybe she'll help people within a group. And you have them try to feel dignity about what they're doing and self-worth, and that's what they feel when they're involved with others within the group.
And the whole building was designed to be a home-like environment. There's a lot of natural light that comes in, very warm colors, walking patterns. So if someone has some anxiousness and feels the need to go in a certain direction, they can freely. A lot of programming that we've put into place to give people sense of purpose and to feel that they have a sense of accomplishment, so they're able to live the best quality of life in our facility.
Is Willow Gardens a pioneer in this? Are there any other facilities that are approach your services?
There are memory care units in assisted living facilities throughout Westchester County, but what makes us unique is that we're the only freestanding, non-for-profit assisted living that's exclusively for Alzheimer's and dementia. Other facilities may have a floor, may have a unit. We're a freestanding facility that just caters to Alzheimer's and dementia.
What do you do? Somebody wants to go outside, but I imagine that gives you pause.
Yes.
People getting lost. How do you deal with that, with letting them experience nature, be outside, enjoy, but keeping them safe?
We have a courtyard,
we have the great fortune of having this beautiful interior courtyard where people can go outside safely, can enjoy nature. We have an outdoor deck where they can live things and do have experiences that they've had in the past, a barbecue, be able to maybe participate in some horticulture, but be part of the life that they remembered, even though their short-term memory isn't so great. So it's all of that about reminiscence and looking back and kind of focusing on the things that they do like and enjoy.
And what we do is try to get their life story so that we know more about them, and we make it individualized to each and every person.
Because the reality is there's no cookie cutter approach for every family that comes in. Your mom or dad is very different from my mom or dad. And so we have to be flexible within reason and really try to make programming and make their daily schedule really adaptive to what really resonates with them.
One of the things I've heard from friends or people whose parents have gone through this is that you walk into some of the homes and it's really depressing. How does Willow Gardens differ?
Well, aside from it being brand new, it's certainly life-giving. There's so much light, natural colors. We had a special curator come to Willow Gardens to provide specific artwork that really would resonate with that population. Nature murals, baseball, things that they would automatically trigger something that happened in their past. So when they walk through the corridors, they could see something and make comment about it.
We have a question that has come in. I'm going to read it from our teleprompter. It says, how do children dealing with parents suffering from Alzheimer's stop feeling guilty about leaving their loved ones at an assisted living facility?
Or in this case, an Alzheimer's facility.
We try to make the person's life as great as it can be and feel like it's their home, and also help the families along as well. Because we're also starting support groups in the fall, so it's more of where people can come and talk about everything and see that they're not only going through this as well. And then when they come to visit, it's more of a great visit for the family too.
I mean, this is an issue that comes up with a spouse too, if you can no longer take care of them.
Yeah, and it's hard, and we don't ever want children or spouse to feel that they're abandoning their loved one by putting them in a facility. We want to reassure them that they are well cared for, that they're not abandoned, and then we become their secondary family. But our doors are always open, and so we encourage families and visitors to come at all times to still be very much a presence in their life.
Do you encourage people, let's say a spouse, to come every day and sit every day with, because you see that and I hear of it.
In the beginning, no, because we have to really create a routine. We want someone, we have to earn that person's trust and make them feel calm and to know that we are going to be there for them. And so in the beginning, and Sally is certainly the expert when it comes to kind of catering to families and how do we wean them away from their loved one from being such a constant presence. And once they create a routine, we certainly encourage them to be there, and very much part of their life.
How do you deal with people who are angry about being there? Because I mean, that comes along with some of it.
Sometimes you kind of, if someone, let's say, came from a rehab, from our rehab, you just go with the flow. They're still in the rehab, and then it becomes like more at home to them as they're going along. So it's like you go with the flow of where they're at. That's what you have to do, is where they're at is where you go with the whole story.
And I think sometimes it's part of the illness that agitation and behaviors come to the surface. And our highly trained staff really are the professionals in redirection and kind of putting that agitation and those behaviors at bay.
Why don't you give some examples? 'Cause I know what you're talking about, but some of our audience may not, conversations that keep happening over and over again, or somebody who's just fixated on something. How should family members or friends deal with it?
Right. For example, we were talking about keys to the car. Okay. So somebody might be looking for their keys to their car. Instead of saying your car's not here, of course you're going to go with the flow of the story and say, oh, the car is it's in the mechanic. They're going to come, maybe the car's going to come back probably in like 20 minutes. They'll call us when it's ready. And this way you make the person feel at ease, and it's more of like a therapeutic intervention or a therapeutic fiblet, if you say, but it really calms the person down because you're going with their flow of what's going on.
We certainly always want the individual we want to preserve as much autonomy and dignity and empowerment. I think no one wants to feel like they've lost control of their life, no matter what cognitive ability that they have. And so if we can instill if we could use choice words and just redirection in another arena.
What do you mean by choice words?
To use calming and soothing words instead of saying, I just told you that 5 minutes ago.
You wouldn't do it.
But just to constantly reassure them that they're safe and maybe focus their attention on something else that they enjoy. Instead of those keys, well, maybe we should go down into the kitchen, and I know that you like these cookies so much, but maybe we should go to. Yes, exactly.
Right.
So just really
redirection.
Yes, exactly.
We have another question that's come in. Can families receive financial help from Willow Gardens? Do you require legal status to accept new residents?
Legal status,
as in
yes,
legally in the documented.
Exactly. So when someone doesn't have the cognitive ability to really speak for themselves, it's usually a child, a spouse, or even if it's a guardian of the state, would have to be the person who's able to kind of speak for someone who can't speak for themselves.
And what about the financial assistance?
Financial assistance, we have a myriad of different programming throughout the campus, and some are paid for by long-term health care insurance, some are paid for privately, and some of the services in the nursing home, for instance, on our memory care floor, are paid for by Medicaid.
Thank you, caller. There's actually an email that came in.
Okay.
What about depression? Does that from what I've heard, that often goes along with Alzheimer's. Is that something that you find?
I think that it depends on what stage someone's in. I think if you're really noticing, and there are some people who come to our facility who really are in denial and don't really know what's going on with their life, and some people are very well aware of it. We have, because of our triple licensure, we have a registered nurse that's always there.
You have to tell us what triple licensure is.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. And so, meaning that we're able to care for people who age in place, and we're able to care for people who have special needs, such as cognitive impairment. So, I kind of lost track of what I was saying, so forgive me. That licensure allows us to care for people, to have them age in place within our facility without having them go into a long-term care facility.
Now, can you deal with medical issues? I mean, as you get older, you may have dementia, but you may also have heart trouble and blood pressure problems or cancer. Can that be dealt with in your facility, or do you need?
Yeah, we have a myriad of services that come in also.
Specialists, physicians,
right?
Yeah, neurologists, geriatric psychiatrists that come throughout the house.
Yeah, everything.
You have a wonderful website that I look through. There's all kinds of information in there about the services that you offer, and I think it's important that you give out your telephone number, because you also offer tours of Willow Gardens.
So we'd be more than happy to provide anyone with a tour. So we're the campus of United Hebrew of New Rochelle. Willow Gardens is our latest line of business, catering exclusively for memory care. And if anyone would like a tour, I would be happy to provide them with that tour. You could reach us at 914-632-2804, or go to our website at www.uhgc.org.
Okay, that's a lot of information.
Yes, that's a lot.
I think it's been on our screen.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
And you stay tuned for more community stories and, of course, the answer to our trivia question. Do you know it to this week?
No.
I didn't either.
This week in sports, the Rhinebeck volleyball team trailed Mamaroneck 13-2 in the first set before the Panthers mounted a huge comeback. Junior Sammy Anuzzi provided a big spark by first making a diving save, then playing the ball perfectly off the ceiling later in the point, making it the LMC Varsity Sports Play of the Week.
Hit forward, and this one, nice play by Anuzzi. The ball was behind her, and she was able to dig it out of the air. A couple good digs by both teams, and Beach tried to put that away, but she couldn't. A soft play by the libero, another play forward by Gottlieb this time, and a great point. And stayed alive, they'll have to hit it forward. Well, Anuzzi, she will again! And it'll stay in bounds as it goes up the net, and they can't handle it, and they got it away. What a point by Anuzzi as the bleachers are shaking. And that was, the Mamaroneck's fans are stunned. Rhinebeck's fans in pure disbelief, and a huge play by Samantha Anuzzi.
As you all know, we always encourage members of our community to be our reporters. This week, Laura Cruz Colon covered on the 3rd annual Access to Free Healthcare Fair. Roll it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura Cruz Colon, and I'm on Local Live right here in Mamaroneck, and I'm with two Mamaroneck residents, Mamaroneck Tower residents, and we're attending the 3rd annual health fair being held right here at the French American School at St. Vito's Church. And this is the 3rd annual health fair that's being held in collaboration with the Rye YMCA, the Community Resource Center of Large Mountain Mamaroneck, and other vendors. The French American School Gym was abuzz with activity as attendees participated in fun exercises. But the Access to Free Healthcare Fair offered more than fun. It offered a chance for people to get medical screenings and essential information on how to access medical care.
We have over 20 vendors here today offering different screenings and health information, helping to provide participants of the health fair with preventative health screenings that they might not be able to access if it wasn't for the health fair today.
Well, I really think this is a terrific event in the Mamaroneck community because what you have is a host of different resources all brought into one room at one time. You know, a lot of folks, seniors, folks for whom English is not their native language, will have some difficulty interacting with the healthcare system. It's complicated for any of us, and even more complicated for those who may not have some of the background to be able to handle it. So when you put all of these people in the room, you have medical organizations here, you have hospitals here, you have a variety of services you can get.
Now I'm here with Dr. Ullman, and Dr. Ullman is a breast cancer specialist with WestMed Medical Group. This is her third time that she's participating with this event.
So we're here volunteering to do free breast exams on women who don't have insurance, or even if they do have insurance and they haven't seen their doctor. And then anything that I feel we can send to, a doctor to get mammogram or imaging, or they can come to me in the office. And it's very important because next month, as we know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So also just to make sure that all women are getting checked and making sure that they're not waiting before things turn really ugly.
We are a medical center that is here for the community, especially the underserved community. And we are creating a program that is for the uninsured community. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter if you are somebody that doesn't have the legal status in the country, you're able to participate in a medical membership. It's $1 a day, $365 a year. And we provide a free physical is included in that $365 a year. In addition, we have been able to get major discounts from laboratory, pharmacy for all of the members.
It's a big blessing for us, because we need to know a lot of things about our health.
So again, a special thank you to all of our sponsors who helped make this event possible.
This is Laura Cruz Colon signing off and hoping that everyone did have a nice time. Hopefully we'll see you again next year at the 4th Annual Health Fair right here in Mamaroneck and Larchmont.
Welcome back to The Local Live. I'm Mike Witch, and I'm here with a guest, Chris Curtin. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
You're the services director of a rather unique organization in Larchmont called Mac Angels Foundation. And you're here to support families with patients who have ALS. Some people have heard of ALS. Tell us what ALS is for those who haven't.
For those people that have not heard of ALS, it stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's a motor neuron disease.
Lou Gehrig's disease.
It's also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, and most commonly known as ALS.
Yeah.
And Mac Angels was founded in 2010, right after my close childhood friend, Claire Gormley Collier, who grew up in Larchmont, passed away from the disease. At that time, she was living in Stamford, Connecticut, and she had 30 small children and was afflicted with the disease at the age of 42, 43.
This is a disease, if I understand it correct, it's not a quick demise, let's say, like from a heart attack or something. It's a slow degeneration?
It can be and it can't be. ALS, as I always say, does not discriminate, doesn't discriminate whether you're male, female, young or old. The average diagnosis, when you get the diagnosis, you have a prognosis of 2 to 5 years.
And I would imagine that the families that take care of people in their family who have ALS, there's a particular challenge there, isn't there?
Sure. There's a financial challenge, there's an emotional challenge. Caregiving is one of the most difficult jobs there is in the world. And caregiving, especially for an ALS patient who slowly loses the ability to move their legs, move their arms, to speak, it is very challenging.
Can you tell some of our viewers what support the Mac Angels Foundation gives to those families?
Well, first, I preface what we do at Mac Angels is we always say, ask and we'll see what we can do. There's nothing that we won't try to do. At Mac Angels, we provide emotional support. We provide social services support with a social worker who's very knowledgeable about the healthcare system. We provide advocacy. I myself was a founding board member with Mac Angels, and then the board president for the first 4 years. And most recently I've stepped down off the board, and now I am the services director. And as the services director, what I do is I go out into our ALS community and I support our patients and our families. Patients, we acknowledge our patients, we refer to them as PALs, a person living with ALS. And we refer to caregivers as CALs, C-A-L-S, caregivers of ALS patients.
Do families have to pay for these services?
Absolutely not. Nothing that we offer requires any money. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We are solely run on donations. So if we loan somebody a portable wheelchair or a commode or a shower chair or a hospital bed, that is all free of charge. We just loan it to them, and when they don't need it anymore, they give it back to us.
Some people may think that the county might be an organization that provides all this support, but
no.
Not true?
No, not true. What happens within the ALS community is once you're given your diagnosis from a neurologist, basically they say get your affairs in order and go live your life.
Wow.
And they say, we're going to refer you to an ALS clinic, such as Columbia in Manhattan or HSS in Manhattan or Mass General up in Boston. And they say, we're going to see you in 3 months. Come back to the clinic in 3 months and we'll measure your progression. But they don't say, there's an organization called Mac Angels, or you need to make sure that when you're going for your wheelchair script, you don't get a manual script. You wait till you get a power wheelchair. There's a lot of ins and outs of living with ALS that you wouldn't know unless you got diagnosed with ALS.
And your organization has the experience of how many people have you supported who have had ALS?
Since we started in 2010, we've helped hundreds and hundreds of families. Currently, right now, on our roster, we have about 60 active families that we're helping. And let me also point out to the audience that although we're a Westchester-based organization, we work through all of Westchester County, all of Fairfield County, all the 5 boroughs, outer-lying parts of New Jersey. We've helped people in California. We've helped people in Boston. Obviously, people further away, we can't help as much. But what we like to do is go into the home, meet the family, get a sense of what's going on in the home, physically and emotionally, and that way we can work with the clinician teams at certain hospitals. And over the years, I've been fortunate enough to build a pretty close relationship with some of these neurology teams, and we work together to help these families. Our mission at Mac Angels is to ease the burden of this horrible disease, that we know what the end result is.
You're a nonprofit organization. People don't have to pay for these services. How were you funded?
Like I said earlier, we are funded solely by private donations. We run events. We have an annual gala that we do every other year. In the years that we don't have the gala, we have non-events, which is a mailing that we send out to our mailing list of our supporters and just ask for a donation. We get in-kind donations from our families once they've seen what we've done. And unfortunately, when someone passes away from the disease, we get in-kind donations from them. We try to go out when we have time and seek grant money, but that's a pretty lengthy process that we don't always have time for. And again, we don't even have an office. We all work out of our home. We have a great founding board member team that are all people that have been affected by the disease. And then as far as our staff, it's just myself as the service director, we have a program director, and we have a social worker, and that's it. So really all the money that we take, I would say 80–90% of it goes back to our families.
There's an event coming up this weekend, the
That's
24th
correct.
and the 25th of September.
Yes.
It's a triathlon. It's a Westchester triathlon,
Right.
and Mac Angels is involved. Can you explain how?
Sure. So Mac Angels has been a part of the Westchester Triathlon for a number of years now. Phil Gormley, who is one of our board members and is also Claire's brother, has been very active in the triathlete world for years. He's an amazing triathlete. He is now the chairman of the Westchester Triathlon, so he's the guy running the show. The triathlon started in 1982, and it was a sprint, small, little triathlon. It's now an Olympic distance triathlon, sponsored by Zoot, I believe, and it's got over 1,000 participants, me being one of them. And we have a small team, Mac Angels team, and this is why I brought our jersey, Mac Angels. This is what you'll be seeing if you come out and support us this weekend, which I hope you do.
And where will it be again? Where will people come?
It starts at Oakland Beach, right next to Playland in Rye.
Okay.
And then one of the highlights of the triathlon is Claire's Climb, in memory of Claire. It is the steepest part of the bike portion of the race. And on top of that hill, we have a lot of supporters and some of our pals ringing cowbells. inspiring the bikers to get up the hill as
And
fast
this
as they can.
Something she used to do.
Claire used to be at the top of Claire's climb in her wheelchair cheering people on.
So
And then she'd be back at the finish line waiting for us when we got back.
So for this event, you're looking for cowbell ringers.
Cowbell ringers, you can go onto macangels.org or go onto westchestertriathlon.org to see more information about exactly where Claire's Climb is. And you can also come to the finish line and support us, and you can be there. We have an expo on Saturday, which Mac Angels will have a tent, and you can learn more about what we do there, along with all the other participants and sponsors. And the great thing about the Westchester Triathlon is it's also a nonprofit. So all the money that they take in from all these participants, they turn around and give it to nonprofits. And Mac Angels is lucky enough to be one of the beneficiaries.
Now, there's a website that you maintain with that has all kinds of information about the history of Mac Angels and where you can donate, how you can help, how you can get involved.
Absolutely.
Let's give us that website.
It is MacAngels, macangels.org. It's a great website. It has great videos on it. It shows you exactly how we help our families and what we do. And it's got a lot of information about ALS in the unlikely event that a loved one is diagnosed with the disease. So please go look at the website. And also, love to see you this Saturday and Sunday. It's supposed to be great weather at Rye, Oakland Beach Playland for the Westchester Triathlon. It's going to be a really great event.
And do check out that website, which is macangels.org. Chris Curtin, Services Director at Mac Angels Foundation. Thank you so much for being on LMC TV.
Thanks for having me.
Local Live.
Thank you.
And hope you come back.
I look forward to coming back. Thanks for having me, Mike.
You're watching The Local Live,
the only news show on Larchmont and Mamaroneck on LMC TV.
Orlando's an adorable lab shepherd, mixed pup, who's about 5 months old. He is very sweet and playful, and he adores his toys and loves to pick up interesting objects on his walks. His mother Kira and sister Bloom are also listed if you can open your home to the whole family. For more information on how to adopt Orlando or browse other adorable pets, go to www.ny-petrescue.org.
Remember, if you'd like to keep us on the air, support our program by checking out our website at www.lmctv.org and click the donate button in the upper right corner. We really appreciate any contribution.
We are always welcoming new interns and volunteers, so send your emails to locallive@lmctv.org and join us. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alexandria Garcia.
And I'm Meral. Kathwari. See you next week for another episode of The Local Live.
Can the local live give my pet ostrich the power of human speech?